Philip Custer, Senior Vice President, Alexander Spillane, the CEO of Fisher Capital. Here's what I want to talk about a little bit real quickly. How much does somebody have to invest in precious metals with Fisher Capital? Can they start small? Can they build up? Do they have to have a certain investment amount? I'm just curious because all the rules are different for companies, and you've been so involved with TPUSA for so long, I figure you've got some options for folks.
We're looking to build a platform where young people can start building a savings with smaller dollar increments. Right now, the opening account minimum would be $5,000. And the reason why is because if we go into smaller purchases, it doesn't allow us to stay as competitive and get our clients a better wholesale cost on those assets.
Fair enough. And I'd like to ask you this as well. When it comes time, because I've often thought that silver would be a better investment. It's pretty good because silver is nowhere near its all-time high. Gold's closer to its all-time high. What are your recommendations? A little of both? I mean, should I diversify in my precious metals too?
Are you getting tips right now?
Well, I'm trying to figure out where to put my money.
So a lot of our clients right now are following a simple 80-20 portfolio, 80% silver, 20% gold, and here's why. Gold has already cracked a new all-time high.
Right. Silver
is still about 40% off from where its all-time high at $50 has been, right? So if we look at the potential, if we've never seen gold go to 3,000. That's what Goldman Sachs is predicting. But if we look at silver, it's sitting at about 29 when it was at 50 twice before. I think there's a lot more potential for growth there. It's used in a lot more manufacturing and industrial processes than gold. So there's ultimately a higher intrinsic demand for that asset. Not to mention, if we look at what silver has done in the past, when gold has taken off, silver has usually followed closely with that. So I'm anticipating silver will see some major jumps and then level with where the historic ratio of gold to silver has been.
80-20, I think that's great information. I've never heard that from anybody else. I think it's good news. I'll ask you one last question here, Philip, and that is, are there any indicators you're watching? The Fed did not raise or lower interest rates again. Does that have an impact on how people are thinking about investing in precious metals? When you look at the economy and you see what Joe Biden's spending all this money, does that make you think that we should do things differently? What are some of the indicators that you look at that would be indicators that something might happen?
Yeah, that's a great question, Steve. You know, there's indicators. We're getting economic warning signs from all directions at this point, you know, and right now we're just in a huge bubble. We really are. We're in an everything bubble. And over any time in history, these bubbles always burst. So we do. To answer your question, we have indicators coming from all directions. There's too many to list. But yeah,
but if the bubble bursts and you've got precious metals, you're in good shape. If the bubble bursts and all you've got's paper, fiat currency, then
100%.
what?
Exactly.
Well, that's the way that you would eliminate and reduce that third-party and counterparty risk. Everything else right now is based on debt. So gold and silver is not attached to any central bank. It's not coupled with a nation's debt. And you're also not coupled with any other financial institutions that may put you at risk. You see a lot of bank failures happening. A lot of clients are very concerned that we're facing something just like what we saw in 2008. And back then it was a domino effect. So a lot of people don't know this. That's why they increased the FDIC threshold to 250,000. It was 100,000 before the last financial crisis because people legitimately did lose a lot of money when their institution failed.
Do you both personally anticipate that there will be something else similar, like a financial crisis in 2008?
You know, I don't want to say that I'm making that prediction. I follow the people who have accurately called all these booms and busts, and a lot of those same people are very nervous. If you literally just type in market crisis into Google and go to news, you're going to see so many different warnings, right?
All right, so let's ask the most important question, which is this. They're watching right now. They say, I want to know more about Fisher Capital. I want to know more about silver. I want to know more about the 80-20. I want to know more about gold. Where do they go, boys?
You know, as far as 80-20, that's an aggressive position that clients do because they want to see growth.
Sure.
If you want to be more conservative, I think a 60-40 ratio, 60% silver, 40% gold, or even vice versa, is just as well. You just don't want to be in one asset. The same way you wouldn't buy one stock if you had a diversified portfolio. The same goes for gold and silver. And there's a lot of different types of gold and silver products. We offer a wide array of bullion products as well as limited mintage bullion products that do have higher premiums, but sometimes they have a better track record of long-term performance. And when you start getting into those type of assets, some of them are not easily as influenced by the spot price going up or down. We saw this in 2011, for example, when gold came down, because every bear market, will go into a cycle, and then it comes down, everything can go into a bubble. So having the right diversification and the right assets can absolutely create balance in your portfolio.
And how do they find you? Fisher Capital. How do they
go to www.fishercapitalgroup.com.
Get started today. Good advice, gentlemen. Really good stuff here.
And you got good stock tips.
And I got good tips on how to invest. And you guys will talk to investors through it. You'll tell them you talk to the folks and figure it out with them. Greatly appreciate you both being here.
Thank you
Philip
guys so
Custer,
much.
Thanks for having us on.
Alexander Spillane, both from Fisher Capital, the #1 corporate sponsor for this great event.